Hello, it's Raylan Ortiz. I'm sorry, I do not feel good at all. I got some type of bug, but here we go for lab exercise 5. Here's my live bacteria unknown culture specimen. Okay, here's my agar plate that I made. Okay, so this is the EMB, and then, okay, so the EMB, and this is the mantanol salt. So I have what I did was I put bleach in here after the Clorox wipes were already gone, and I'm going to use my loops once they're what is it called, once they're dirty or contaminated, so to speak. I'm going to put them in here with my bleach, and this is going to be my discard bucket. So I have one of those, and then I also clean my counter with my bleach wipes. I have these, and I also have a cup of 91% isopropyl alcohol with my bleach loops inside them. And I also have this mask is falling down. This is just not a good setting for me. But anyways, I have my paper towels here. I have a sink nearby in case I need to wash my hands. I have a trash bag nearby. So here we go. We're going to get started. I also have pipettes. Do I really need pipettes? I don't think we need those, but I have them just in case. So anyway, I'm not sure exactly where I put my candle, but I do have a lighter so we can decontaminate everything. So here we go first. We're going to open up our culture, our petri dish. Here's our live culture. We're going to open it. Put the lid face down. Get that out of the way. Okay, so we want to decontaminate the area. So I'm pretty much just going to go over the rim with the lighter just to decontaminate it, to make sure that we're not cross-contaminating any of our cultures. Okay, because we want accurate results. So I'm wringing out my loop. Here's my loop. I'm just wringing it out of the alcohol. So I'm going to get a little bit of the culture without touching the sides, and just carefully get a little bit of the bacteria so I can put it in my petri dish. So I'm going to be very careful not to rip any of my agar. So we're just going to loop this side very carefully, just in this kind of motion. Okay. Now back in the alcohol it goes. Okay. Now we're going to get our lighter again. I'm going to set that down, our agar plate down. We're going to put the lid on top so no contaminants get into it. Okay, we're going to wipe this, or decontaminate this again. Our bacterial unknown culture. Set that back in its little area. We're going to open our petri culture, wring out our loop. Now we're going to get some of the live bacteria. Once this is dry, which is already dry, we're going to be very careful not to touch any of the sides. We're just going to get a little bit of our unknown culture. And then now we're going to do the other area, the other side, so to speak. Okay, now we're going to discard this into our bleach trash. And then now we're going to get another loop, because again, we don't want to cross-contaminate. I have quite a few little loops in here. So we're going to do the same thing again. We don't want to cross-contaminate nothing. So we're just decontaminating the area. Okay. Now okay, same thing. So we're gonna get our inoculating loop. Make sure not to touch any of the sides. Get some of the bacteria on it. And now we're gonna just be very careful not to rip anything on our culture, and then we're just going to get the bacteria, go back and forth, being very careful not to puncture anything. Okay, so we did that quadrant, the third quadrant. Okay, we're gonna put our lid back on it. Same thing again. Decontaminate the area, clean the lip. Okay, now get our inoculating loop. Alright, same thing, careful not to touch any of the edges, get some of the bacteria, unknown bacteria on the loop. And now we're gonna do the fourth and final quadrant. Okay, and then now we're gonna put our lid back on our sample, specimen, whichever. And this goes in our bleach throwaway bucket for garbage, discard. Now here's our sample. Just gonna decontaminate the area again. Put our lid back on. And now we're gonna do the same thing with our mannitol salt one. So I made 2 of these. This one's the EMB agar, and this is the mannitol salt. So now we're gonna do the same thing with this one. And then now we wait for 48 hours, and if no growth, we're gonna wait again for 72 hours and then see what's what has grown. All right, it's been lovely. See you in the next one. Have a good rest of your evening.